As an exhausted cleaner, Lena stepped into the elevator. She was joined by a man in an expensive suit. He gazed at her necklace as if it held the answers to a 7-year-old mystery, unaware that this stranger, captivated by her jewelry, was one of the city's most formidable mafia bosses, who had just rediscovered something he believed was lost forever. On the 20th floor, flickering fluorescent lights illuminated Lena as she shifted baby Mia on her hip, her cleaning cart abandoned in the janitor's closet. 6 hours of scrubbing marble floors had left her shoulders aching, but a rare early end to her shift brought a small reprieve. With a soft hum to soothe Mia, she pressed the elevator button with her elbow. The silver doors glided open with a gentle chime, revealing an empty cologne-scented cabin. A brief moment of peace where she could sit on the floor without judgment. However, as Lena stepped in and turned, a hand shot between the closing doors, forcing them open again. A man in a charcoal suit, likely more expensive than her annual rent, entered. Tall, in his mid-30s, with dark, swept-back hair and eyes that bespoke profound experience, he bore a faint scar along his jawline. "Sorry," Lena mumbled, shifting Mia, acutely aware of her stained uniform and the lingering scent of cleaning chemicals. The man ignored her, pressing the lobby button before standing motionless, hands clasped. As the doors sealed and the elevator began its descent, Lena watched the floor numbers recede. 19, 18, 17. Mia gurgled, reaching for the antique silver locket around Lena's neck, Elena's last tangible memory. As Mia's tiny fingers grasped it, Lena gently whispered, "Shush, baby, not for grabbing," prying her hand away. That's when she noticed the man staring, not at Mia, but at the locket. His body had stiffened, his jaw clenched, and his intense gaze on the necklace sent a shiver down Lena's spine. 16, 15, 14. The elevator groaned, then lurched to a halt, plunging into darkness. Lena gasped, stumbling against the wall, clutching Mia protectively. The baby's cries echoed in the sudden claustrophobia. Emergency lights flickered on, casting a sickly yellow glow. "It's okay, it's okay," Lena whispered, bouncing Mia, her heart pounding. She couldn't afford to be stuck. Her second paycheck from the diner had to be collected before midnight. "Power outage," the man stated, his voice unexpectedly deep and calm. "It'll resume in a few minutes. The building has backup generators." Lena nodded, unable to speak, focusing on soothing Mia with a lullaby her sister used to sing. Slowly, the baby's cries subsided to hiccups. "That necklace!" Lena's head snapped up. The man had moved closer, his shadow stretching across the wall like a living thing. "Where did you get it?" His tone was more an accusation than a question. "It was my sister's," Lena replied, instinctively covering the locket. "Why?" Under the emergency lights, his face had paled. He stared at the necklace as if it were a ghost, his composed demeanor cracking to reveal raw emotion. "Your sister," he repeated slowly. "What was her name?" Warning bells screamed in Lena's head. She knew dangerous men, and this man, the expensive suit, the scar, his bearing, spoke a language of violence she understood. "I don't think that's your business," she said quietly, shielding Mia. The elevator shuddered, lights flickering before stabilizing. With a mechanical hum, they began moving again. 13, 12, 11. The man remained still, now truly looking at her face for the first time. His eyes widened almost imperceptibly. "Elena," he whispered. "Your sister was Elena." Lena's blood turned to ice. No one in this city knew Elena's name. Her sister had died 7 years ago in a fire, deemed suspicious but unsolved. Lena, then 16, alone and pregnant, had rebuilt her life, keeping Elena's memory fiercely private. "How do you know that name?" she demanded, her voice sharper than intended. The elevator chimed. Lobby. The doors opened to the marble entrance hall, empty except for a security guard engrossed in a magazine 50 feet away. The man stepped out, then turned back. In the brighter lobby light, Lena saw grief and guilt etched on his face. "I knew your sister," he said simply, then walked away, his footsteps echoing across the polished floor. Lena stood frozen, Mia heavy in her arms, watching him disappear through the revolving doors. "You okay, miss?" the security guard asked, glancing up. She nodded automatically, stepping out, but she wasn't okay. A forgotten memory surfaced. Elena, at age 10, showing her a photograph. A young man, dark-haired, serious-eyed, in front of a luxurious car. "If anything ever happens to me," Elena had whispered, "stay away from Adrien Moretti. Promise me, Lena. Promise." Lena had promised. Now, 17 years later, she was almost certain she'd just been trapped with him. She looked down at the locket. In the lobby's bright light, the tiny engraved crest she'd always dismissed as decorative now clearly matched the man's cufflinks. Outside, a black car pulled away, and Lena felt her quiet, invisible life unravel. Adrien Moretti sat in the back of his car, his hands visibly shaking, a rare occurrence. "Boss," his driver Marco queried through the rearview mirror. "Where to?" "Follow her," Adrien commanded, his voice hoarse. Through the tinted window, he watched the young woman, baby on hip, head toward the bus stop, nervously glancing over her shoulder. Smart girl. The resemblance, now that he'd properly seen her face, was undeniable. Elena's dark eyes, delicate features. But Lena looked worn, her uniform hanging loose, carrying herself like someone accustomed to being invisible. "Run a background check," Adrien ordered, pulling out his phone. "Everything. Name, address, employment history, bank records. I want it in an hour." He snapped a photo of her from the car as she sat on the bench, then zoomed in on the locket. The Moretti family crest, which he had custom engraved on Elena's engagement necklace 8 years ago, 3 weeks before her death. As the bus departed, Adrien's car followed at a discreet distance. His phone rang. Dante, his second in command. "The meeting with the Calibri family is set for midnight. Are you coming?" Dante asked. "Cancel it," Adrien commanded, his voice firm. A moment of silence. "Boss, we've been negotiating this territory deal for 3 months. "I said cancel it," Adrien repeated, ending the call. The bus wound through increasingly desolate neighborhoods. When the woman finally disembarked, they were in a part of the city Adriene's organization controlled but rarely frequented. Broken streetlights, graffiti, men loitering on corners, watching. She walked quickly, head down, the baby asleep against her shoulder, stopping at a building with peeling paint and a broken, unlocked front door. "Get me the apartment number," Adrien instructed, "then take me home." By 3 a.m., Adrienne sat in his study with a thin file. Lena Russo, 23 years old, 2, sometimes 3, jobs, night cleaner at the Tower Building, daytime waitress at Joe's Diner, occasional weekend work at a laundromat, no criminal record, bank account rarely exceeding $200, behind on rent twice this year, baby's name, Mia Russo, 6 months old, father unknown on the birth certificate. The next page, however, made Adrienne's chest tighten. Sister Elena Russo, deceased, died in a residential fire 7 years ago, age 21. Investigation ruled suspicious but unsolved. He retrieved his own hidden folder, pulling out a photograph of Elena laughing, her hand reaching toward the camera, toward him. They had taken it at his family's villa the day he proposed. He placed it next to the surveillance photo of Lena. The resemblance between sisters was undeniable. Adrien walked to the window overlooking the city, recalling the night Elena died. He had been in Milan, resolving issues with a rival family. Elena was supposed to be safe in the apartment he'd bought her, protected by his men. But one of them, Victor, had been working for the Russians. The fire, he knew, was no accident. It was a message. Adrienne had dealt with Victor personally, but the guilt remained. He had searched for Elena's family afterward, but found nothing. Her parents were dead. No siblings appeared in any records, yet she once confided in him about a younger sister years before their paths crossed. Elena, however, consistently avoided discussing her childhood. Now, that very sister was struggling in the city where Elena had met her end, inexplicably wearing the necklace he had given the woman he cherished. A knock at the door. "Come in," Adrien commanded. Marco entered, a visible discomfort etched on his face. "Boss," he began, "there's something else. The girl Dimitri's crew is watching her building." Adrien slowly turned, a cold dread creeping into him. "What?" he demanded. "Dimitri's men, 3 of them, rotating shifts. They've been there for 2 months, since before the baby was born." The room's temperature seemed to plummet. Dimitri, leading a faction within Adrien's organization, had long advocated for more aggressive expansion. Tensions had simmered. Whispers of betrayal circulated, but concrete evidence remained elusive. Why would Dmitri have men watching a cleaning woman? Adrien pondered aloud, though his mind was already frantically sifting through possibilities. I don't know, boss, but they're not protecting her. They're observing her as if awaiting a significant event. Adrien remained silent for a long moment, then opened his desk drawer, retrieving a small card bearing a phone number. I want 4 of our best men stationed at her building by dawn. Their directive is simple: observe, do not engage, and specifically, keep a close eye on Dmitri's men. Marco hesitated. Boss, if Dmitri finds out... Adrien cut him off, a steely resolve in his voice. He won't. Not until I grasp his intentions with her. He gazed at Elena's photograph one last time. After Marco departed, Adrien settled back into his chair. From a locked drawer, he pulled out a small wooden box. Inside lay a baby toy, a tiny silver rattle adorned with the Moretti crest. He'd purchased it years ago, envisioning the children he and Elena would one day share. He resolved to return it to Lena, not because she'd dropped it, she hadn't, but because he yearned to see her again. He needed to unravel why Dmitri harbored such interest in a girl who, by all accounts, should be inconsequential. And he needed to ascertain if Lena held any memory of him, or if she'd been too young during Elena's lifetime. Outside his window, the city slumbered, but Adrien Moretti found no rest that night. Lena was nourishing Mia with mashed bananas when a knock echoed at her door. She froze, the spoon suspended midair towards her baby's mouth. No one ever knocked on her door. Her landlord merely taped eviction notices to it. And she had no friends in this building. Another knock, firmer this time. She carefully put the spoon down and moved stealthily to the peephole, Mia gurgling contentedly in the high chair behind her. Through the scratched glass, she saw him. The man from the elevator, Adrien Moretti, standing in her hallway. Lena's heart hammered against her ribs. She glanced around her cramped apartment, as if seeking an escape route. The window offered a 4-story drop. The door was her solitary egress. Miss Russo, his voice calm and measured, resonated through the door. I'm not here to harm you. I merely wish to speak. How did he know her name? How had he discovered her address? Go away, she called out, striving for a bravery she didn't possess. Or I'll call the police. Please, I brought something for your daughter. Defying every instinct imploring her to remain quiet, Lena cautiously cracked the door, keeping the chain lock firmly engaged. Through the narrow gap, she had a clear view. The same expensive suit, though a different hue gray today. His hands were visible, holding a small silver rattle. You dropped this, he stated, in the elevator. Lena stared at it. No, I didn't. Then perhaps your sister would have wanted your daughter to have it. The word struck her like a physical blow. Lena's fingers tightened on the door. You need to leave now. 5 minutes. That's all I request. His dark eyes met hers through the opening. Your sister Elena deserves that much, doesn't she? Lena hesitated. She should slam the door. She should scream. But Elena's name on his lips evoked a pang of loneliness, a grief she had buried for 7 years. She closed the door, unlatched the chain, and reopened it. Adrien stepped inside, and the apartment seemed to shrink around his presence. He surveyed the peeling wallpaper, the second-hand furniture, the baby toys strewn across the worn carpet. His expression remained impassive, yet something flickered in his eyes, perhaps pity or guilt. Nice place, he commented. Lena crossed her arms. Just say what you came to say. He moved towards the small window overlooking the street, careful not to stand directly in front of it. An old habit, perhaps. The necklace your daughter wears. I gave it to Elena 8 years ago, when I asked her to marry me. The world around Lena tilted slightly. You were engaged for 3 weeks. He turned to face her. Then she died. Lena collapsed onto her threadbare couch, Mia babbling happily from the kitchen in her high chair. Elena never mentioned... She never told me about any engagement. How old were you when she died? He asked. 16. We'd been apart for years before that. Foster care separated us after our parents died. I saw her maybe twice between age 12 and the fire. Lena's voice cracked. But she sent me letters, every month, never mentioned you once. Adrien's jaw tightened. She was protecting you from my world. Your world? Lena echoed. You mean the mob? He did not deny it. The fire that killed Elena wasn't an accident. It was an attack meant for me. She died because someone wanted to hurt me. The words hung in the air like smoke. Lena had always suspected the fire was no accident, but hearing it confirmed made her stomach churn. "Why are you telling me this?" she whispered. "Because I need to know," he replied, choosing his words with deliberate care. "Has anyone else approached you, asked questions about Elena or about you?" "No, nobody knows about Elena except me. I don't even use our old last name anymore." Lena paused. "Why?" Adrien moved away from the window. "There are men watching your building, dangerous men. I don't know why yet, but I will find out." The blood drained from Lena's face. "What men? Have you noticed anything strange? People following you? The same faces appearing multiple times?" Lena's mind raced back through the past weeks. There had been a man at the bus stop who seemed to be there every night. Another at the laundromat, always in the corner, never actually washing clothes. She had dismissed it as paranoia. "Oh, God," she breathed. "Why would anyone watch me? I'm nobody." "You're Elena's sister. That makes you someone." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a card. "If you see anything suspicious, call this number, day or night." Lena took the card with trembling fingers. No name on it, just a sequence of digits. Adrien walked to the kitchen doorway and looked at Mia, who beamed at him, bananas smeared across her face. Something in his expression softened. "How old?" he asked. 6 months. "She is Elena's smile," he murmured quietly. Then he placed the silver rattle on the counter. "The offer stands, Miss Russo. If you need help, you call." He moved towards the door, then paused. "One more thing. The men watching you, don't let them know you've noticed. Act normal. I'll handle it." "Why do you care what happens to me?" Lena asked. Adrien looked at her for a long moment. "Because I couldn't save your sister. Maybe I can save you." Then he was gone, the door clicking softly behind him. Lena sat in the silence, Mia's happy sounds the only noise. She looked at the silver rattle gleaming on her counter, at the card with its anonymous number. Elena had warned her to steer clear of Adrien Moretti, but Elena was dead, and Lena was being watched by dangerous men, and the only person offering help was the man her sister had cautioned her about. Adrien stood amidst the crumbling remnants of what was once the Marchesi estate, 40 miles outside the city. Vines snaked through broken windows, and the lingering scent of old ash clung stubbornly to the blackened walls, even after 7 years. This was the place where Elena had perished. He had acquired the property after the fire, unable to bear the thought of strangers owning the ground where she had drawn her final breath. He visited occasionally, especially when the weight of guilt became unbearable. "Why are we here, boss?" Marco asked, visibly uncomfortable. He had been Adrien's driver that night, too, the night they received the call about the fire. "Because I missed something," Adrien replied, walking through what had once been the main hall. "Elena wasn't supposed to be here that night. She was supposed to be at the apartment in the city." "Perhaps she changed her mind?" Marco offered. "Elena never changed her mind without telling me." Adrien stopped at the base of a collapsed staircase. "Pull the old police reports. Every witness statement, every piece of evidence. Something doesn't add up." While Marco made calls, Adrien carefully ascended the remains of the stairs. Elena's room had been on the 2nd floor, in the east wing. He had only been here twice before her death. She had claimed the old mansion brought her peace, affording her space to think away from his chaotic world. The floor groaned ominously under his weight, but he reached what remained of her room. Rain had ravaged much of it over the years, yet in the corner, partially concealed by a fallen beam, he saw something that stopped his breath. A small metal lockbox, designed to withstand fires. His hands trembled as he pulled it free. The lock, though rusted, still held. He shot it open with the gun he habitually carried. Inside were papers, letters, and photographs. The first photograph made his chest constrict. Elena, visibly pregnant, sitting in this very room, smiling, her hand resting on her swollen belly, yet with a distinct sadness in her eyes. Pregnant? Adrien's mind reeled. She had never told him. In 3 weeks of engagement, she had not uttered a single word. He seized the letters with trembling hands. They were addressed to little Elena, all dated from 8 years ago, right up until the week Elena died. "Little El, I'm scared. The baby is coming soon. and I don't know if I can do this. He can't know. You understand, don't you? Men like him, they destroy everything they touch, even when they love you. I've decided after the baby is born, I'm leaving. I'll take her far away where he'll never find us. I've saved enough money. Please forgive me for not coming to get you too. You're far safer nestled within the system than anywhere near him, the stark reality reverberated. Her name, irrevocably, was to be Mia. The revelation had come to him last night, a dream, vivid and undeniable. Mia Russo, not Moretti, never Moretti. Adrien recoiled from the letters as if scorched, the implications searing. Mia, Elena's daughter, his daughter. The infant Lena had cradled was not some random waif, but Elena's very own. The timeline clicked into place. Mia was 6 months old. Elena had perished 7 years prior. The birth must have preceded the fire, the baby concealed. His phone jarred him from the reverie. Marco. Boss, you absolutely have to hear this. I unearthed the original detective's notes, the unofficial ones. There was a witness who saw 2 cars departing the estate just before the fire erupted. One belonged to Victor, the other to Dimitri. Adrien concluded, his voice a hollow echo. How did you possibly know? A chilling realization struck, fueled by Marco's response. Because Dimitri has been shadowing Lena for months. He knows. Adrien's mind reeled, grasping for connections. He knows about the baby. He knew even before I did. Why would he concern himself with... Marco interjected, a dawning horror in his tone. Oh God, boss, if Elena bore your child and Dimitri can substantiate it, then Mia possesses an indisputable claim to the Moretti family legacy. Adrien finished the thought, his articulation precise. And Dimitri has been orchestrating his takeover for 2 years. A true blood heir would utterly shatter his ambitions. Adrien's gaze returned to Elena's photograph. She had died safeguarding their daughter, shrouding her existence in secrecy. And somehow, that baby had found her way to Lena. He snatched his phone, dialing his lawyer. Vincent, I require a DNA test arranged, discreetly, today. For what purpose? Paternity. Adrien's voice was granite. And Vincent, if my suspicions are correct, I need custody papers drafted immediately, legal guardianship as well. After ending the call, Adrien surveyed the wreckage surrounding him. Elena had been justified in her flight, completely justified in concealing their daughter. His world had claimed her. But now Dimitri knew. And if Dimitri knew, others would swiftly follow suit. A child of Adrien Moretti would be an invaluable asset to his adversaries, as leverage, as a hostage, or as a corpse to definitively extinguish the bloodline. His phone vibrated, a text from one of his men observing Lena's building. Dimitri's crew just escalated surveillance. 6 men now. They're gearing up for something. Adrien was in motion before he finished reading. He dialed Lena's number, the burner phone he'd provided her, as he sprinted toward his car. It rang 8 times, unanswered. He called again. Silence. Marco, get to Lena's apartment immediately. They were 20 minutes away. 20 minutes could spell the difference between everything and nothing. Adrien's foot hammered the accelerator, the ruins of his estate vanishing in the rearview mirror, along with any lingering hope that he could protect his daughter by remaining distant. Lena perched on a bench beside the river, watching Mia slumber peacefully in her stroller. She had slipped out of her apartment via the back fire escape, after spotting 4 men idly loitering near her building. Her hands still trembled uncontrollably. She had called in sick to both her jobs, hastily packed a bag, and retrieved the emergency $300 from the coffee can beneath her sink. She had no destination in mind, only the unwavering certainty that she could not stay. The burner phone Adrien had given her felt heavy in her pocket. She had almost called it a dozen times. There you are. Lena spun around. Adrien stood 20 feet away, breathing heavily as if he'd been running. His impeccably tailored suit was rumpled, his hair disheveled. Behind him, she could discern a black car parked illicitly on the grass. How did you find me? She inquired. Your phone has a tracker. He approached, his gaze sweeping the park, the trees, every shadowed crevice. We need to talk now. About how you've been tracking me? About Mia? Adrien halted before the stroller, his eyes fixed on the sleeping infant. His face had blanched. About who she truly is. Something in his voice made Lena's stomach plummet. What are you talking about? Adrien extracted a photograph from his jacket and offered it to her. Lena accepted it with trembling fingers. It was Elena. Pregnant. Very pregnant. "Where did you get this?" Lena whispered. "From the estate where she died. There were letters too, to you." Adrien's voice was raspy. "Elena was 8 months pregnant when she died. She gave birth to Mia days before the fire." The world spun. Lena clutched the bench. "That's impossible. I found Mia at a fire station. Someone left her there with a note." She paused, her mind racing backward. The note had read, "Her name is Mia. Keep her safe. Tell her about Elena." "Oh my God," Lena breathed. "The men watching your building," Adrien continued, his words now tumbling out faster. "They aren't there by accident. They know Mia is Elena's daughter. My daughter." Lena's head snapped up. "Your Elena was pregnant with my child. She was going to leave me, take Mia, and disappear, because she believed my world would destroy them." His voice cracked, raw with emotion. "She was right. My world killed her anyway." Lena gazed down at Mia, seeing her differently now. The dark hair, the serious expression even in sleep. Not random features, Adriene's features. "Why didn't Elena tell you?" Lena asked softly. "Because she was terrified. The letters. She wrote that men like me destroy everything we touch." Adriene's hands clenched into fists. "And the man watching you now, Dimitri, he's from my organization. If he can prove Mia is my biological daughter, she becomes a threat to his plans to take over. Then what does he want with her?" Adrien met her eyes, and the answer was etched in his expression before he spoke. "To eliminate her. She's the only legitimate blood heir to the Moretti family." Lena moved instantly, positioning herself between Adrien and the stroller. "You stay away from her." "I'm not the threat here." "You're exactly the threat." Lena's voice escalated. "Elena died because of you. She spent her pregnancy terrified because of you. And now you're saying men want to kill a 6-month-old baby because she has your blood." "Yes." Adrien's voice was steady, starkly honest. "That's exactly what I'm saying." "Then she needs to disappear. I'll take her somewhere far away." "You'll be dead before you make it to the state line. Dimitri has resources everywhere." Adrien took a step closer. "But I have more. Let me protect you both." "Like you protected Elena?" The word struck him like a physical blow. Lena watched him flinch, saw the guilt flicker across his face. "That's not fair," he said quietly. "Fair?" Lena laughed bitterly. "My sister died because she loved you. I've spent 7 years raising her daughter in poverty, thinking she was abandoned, and now you want me to trust you with our lives? I want you to let me fix my mistakes. You can't fix this." Lena's hands were shaking. "You can't bring Elena back. You can't erase what your world did to her." Adrien remained silent for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was altered, vulnerable in a way she hadn't heard before. "Elena wrote that Mia has her smile. I wouldn't know. I've never seen my daughter smile." He looked at the stroller. "I've missed 6 months of her life because her mother was too afraid of me to tell me she existed. I can't fix the past, but I can try to give Mia a future. Let me try." Lena stared at him, this dangerous man who suddenly appeared human. Behind them, a car engine roared to life. Adrien's head snapped around. "Get down!" He lunged forward, pushing Lena to the ground as gunfire erupted. "The stroller!" Lena screamed, but Adrien had already snatched it, pulling it behind the bench as bullets splintered the wood. 3 men emerged from a van, weapons drawn. Adrien returned fire, his gun materializing from nowhere. "Stay down!" The shootout endured for 30 seconds that felt like 30 years. When silence descended, 2 of the men lay motionless on the ground. The third was fleeing. Adrien didn't pursue him. He turned to Lena and Mia, his eyes wild. "Are you hurt?" Mia was sobbing, terrified, but unharmed. Lena was trembling so violently she couldn't speak. "We're leaving now." Adrien pulled them both toward his car. "You don't have a choice anymore. They know where you are. Your apartment, your jobs, everywhere. If you want your daughter to see tomorrow, you come with me." Lena looked at Mia's tear-stained face, then at the bullet holes in the bench where they'd been sitting. She took Adrien's hand. The safe house was not what Lena had envisioned. No sprawling mansion, no armed guards at the gate. simply a modest brick townhouse on a tranquil street, the kind of place where young families resided. The sole unusual detail was the reinforced door and the camera concealed within the porch light. "It's clean," Adrien stated, carrying Mia's diaper bag inside. "No one knows about this place except Marco and one other man I'd trust with my life." Lena followed him in, still reverberating from the park. The interior was surprisingly warm, comfortable furniture, a fully stocked kitchen, and toys in the corner that appeared untouched, as if prepared for a family that never arrived. "I bought this place 2 years ago," Adrien said, observing her take it all in. "After I started encountering problems with Dimitri, I thought I might need somewhere to disappear. You don't seem like the disappearing type." "I'm not, but everyone needs a backup plan." He set the bag down and turned to face her. "You'll stay here until I handle Dimitri." "Handle him? How?" Adrien's expression turned frigid. "However necessary." Lena clutched Mia tighter. The baby had finally ceased crying, exhausted by the chaos. "And after, when Dimitri's gone, then what?" "Then you're free to leave if you want. But Mia..." He struggled with the words. "I need to know. Know she's safe. Always. She's not a possession you can protect from a distance." "I know." Adrien ran a hand through his hair, a rare crack in his composure. "I don't know how to do this. I never planned for a child. Elena and I, we talked about it someday, but someday never came." Lena sat on the couch, settling Mia in her lap. "She looks like you when she's angry. Gets this little crease between her eyebrows." Something shifted in Adrien's face. "Can I?" He gestured toward them. "Can I hold her?" Lena hesitated, then slowly handed Mia over. Adrien took her awkwardly, as if handling explosives. Mia stared up at him with wide, dark eyes. His eyes, and grabbed his tie. "Hey there," he murmured, his voice soft. I'm your father?" The words hung in the air, weighted with unspoken emotions. Mia gurgled, tugging his tie with renewed vigor. For the first time since their tumultuous meeting, Adrien genuinely smiled, a rare warmth transforming his features, making him appear remarkably younger, almost tender. Then his phone shattered the moment. The smile vanished instantly. He quickly handed Mia back, snapping, "What?" Lena watched his expression darken as he listened intently. A pause. "How many?" Another strained silence. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. Disconnecting the call, he met Lena's gaze. "Dimitri made his move. He's called a meeting with the family heads. He plans to claim I'm unfit to lead because of us. Because I chose protecting you over a crucial territory deal. Because I'm distracted. Because he thinks I've gone soft." Adrien's voice was laced with a chilling hardness. "He's not entirely wrong." "Then go do what you need to do," Lena urged. "I can't leave you unprotected." "You said this place is safe," she reminded him. Adrien moved to the window, peering through the curtain. "Marco will be here in 5 minutes. He'll stay outside. There's a panic button by the bed upstairs. Red button. You can't miss it. You press it, and 10 of my men will be here in under 3 minutes. "You've thought of everything," Lena conceded, a hint of awe in her voice. "Not everything," he stated, his tone wistful. "If I had, Elena would still be alive." He turned back to her. "There's food in the kitchen, formula, and diapers in the closet upstairs. Don't open the door for anyone except Marco or me. Don't go near the windows after dark." "How long will you be gone?" "As long as it takes." Adrien walked to the door, hesitating before opening it. "Lena, if something happens to me tonight, if I don't come back, there's an envelope in the top drawer of the bedroom dresser. Bank account information, property deeds, everything you need to take Mia and start over somewhere safe." "Nothing's going to happen to you," Lena asserted, though her voice wavered slightly. "You don't know that," he countered, a shadow crossing his eyes. "No," Lena admitted, her gaze tenderly falling on Mia. "But Mia just met her father. She deserves more than 10 minutes with him." Adrien looked at her for a long moment, a flicker of something undefinable in his gaze. "Elena chose well when she left Mia with you." "Elena didn't have a choice. She was dying." "She had a choice about who to trust with her daughter," he corrected softly. "She chose her little sister." He opened the door. "I'll try to choose as well as she did." Then he was gone. Lena sat in the sudden silence, Mia a warm, heavy weight in her arms. Through the window, she watched Adrienne's car pull away decisively. Moments later, another car parked discreetly across the street. Marco, she presumed. She walked upstairs and, just as he had mentioned, found the bedroom. Sure enough, an envelope lay within the dresser. Inside were bank statements revealing accounts holding seven-figure sums, deeds to properties in 3 different countries, and a stark, handwritten note. Her name is Mia Moretti. She is my daughter. Keep her safe. Am. Lena's hands trembled as a chilling realization dawned. This wasn't merely protection. This was Adrien, meticulously preparing for his own demise. She recollected Elena's letters, her sister's profound fear of this perilous world. Yet, she also recalled the genuine smile that had graced Adrien's face when Mia clutched his tie, the immediate protective instinct when he shielded them during the shootout. Elena had been terrified of the violence Adrien's love might bring, but perhaps she had never truly seen what Lena witnessed now. A man desperately striving to break free from the brutal cycle his world demanded. Outside, night was falling, cloaking the city, and somewhere within its dangerous confines, Adrien Moretti was walking into a room teeming with men who desired his death. Adrien returned at 3 a.m, blood clinging to his knuckles, exhaustion etched deeply in his eyes. Lena was still awake, a silent sentinel in the dark living room, Mia asleep on her chest, her soft breaths a soothing rhythm. Sleep had eluded her, every passing car and distant siren a jarring intrusion. "You're alive," she whispered, her voice a fragile testament to her relief. He attempted a smile, a weary curve that failed to reach his eyes. "Your hand is bleeding." Adrien looked down at his knuckles as if he'd forgotten their existence. "Dimitri won't be a problem anymore." "Is he alive?" "Barely, but he's gone. Exiled to Europe with a warning that, if he ever comes back, he won't leave in one piece." Adrien sank into the chair opposite her. The family heads voted. "I keep my position for now." "For now?" Lena echoed, her brow furrowing. "They have concerns. They think Mia makes me vulnerable." He met her eyes, a raw honesty in his gaze. "They're right." Lena adjusted the sleeping baby, a quiet tenderness in her movements. "So, what happens now?" "Now we wait. Make sure Dimitri's people fall in line. Make sure no one else gets ideas." He leaned back, closing his eyes, a profound weariness settling over him. "Could take a few days, maybe a week. You're staying here. I'm not leaving you unprotected again." Over the next 5 days, Lena observed a remarkable transformation in Adrien Moretti. The first morning, he awoke before her, making coffee. Not some luxurious espresso, but simple drip coffee in the modest kitchen. His suit jacket was off, sleeves rolled up, an almost ordinary man stood before her. "I don't know what babies eat," he confessed when Mia woke, a sheepish glint in his eyes. "Formula, and she's starting solids," Lena explained. She showed him how to mix the bottle, how to test the temperature on his wrist. His hands were steady, the same hands that had gripped a gun just 3 days prior. He fed Mia slowly, meticulously, his gaze fixed on her face as if she were the most captivating spectacle he'd ever witnessed. "She does have Elena's smile," he mused quietly. "I see it now." The second day, Lena discovered him reading to Mia from a children's book Marco had fetched. His deep voice stumbled adorably over the silly rhymes, and Mia stared at him with an intense curiosity, as if trying to decipher this new man in her life. "You're not very good at this," Lena remarked from the doorway, a soft smile gracing her lips. "I've never read to a child before." "I can tell." She sat beside him. "You have to do the voices. Make it fun." Adrien looked skeptical, but tried. His clumsy attempt at a mouse voice made Mia giggle, a real, unadulterated delight. His face lit up, a beacon of pure joy. "Did you hear that?" he exclaimed, a boyish wonder in his voice. She laughed. First time she's laughed at something other than her own toes. Lena felt a warmth spread in her chest, a quiet blossoming of unexpected emotion. "Congratulations," she offered, her voice tender. "You're funny." The third day brought rain, trapping them indoors. The rhythmic drumming of water against the windows fostered a peculiar intimacy. Adrien prepared lunch, pasta, simple but surprisingly delicious. Elena taught me, he volunteered when Lena raised an eyebrow in surprise. Early in our relationship, she said if I could negotiate with criminals, I could learn to cook. Was she a good teacher? Lena inquired. Patient, more patient than I deserved. He paused, twirling pasta on his fork, a distant look in his eyes. She'd be angry at me right now for bringing you into this world. She's the one who gave me Mia, Lena countered gently. Maybe she knew you were stronger than she was. Lena set down her fork. Elena wasn't weak. She was terrified. There's a difference. I made her terrified. I made the woman I loved afraid of me. Adrien's voice was rough, raw with regret. That's not strength. That's failure. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of his words hanging between them. You're trying now, Lena finally said, her voice soft but firm. Finally, that counts for something. The fourth day, Lena awoke to find Adrien asleep on the couch, Mia nestled peacefully on his chest, his hand curved protectively around her back. He had been up with her at 2 a.m. when she cried inconsolably, insisting Lena get some rest. Lena stood in the doorway, observing them, father and daughter, breathing in perfect sync. This was the man Elena had loved, not the cold, imposing mafia boss from the elevator. This version, tired, gentle, so earnestly striving to be good enough. On the fifth day, they truly talked. Lena recounted her childhood in foster homes, the gnawing hunger, the nights she cried for Elena, later finding Mia at the fire station, and instantly knowing she would keep her, no matter how impossible the circumstances. Adrien, in turn, spoke of his father's relentless violence, inheriting an empire built on bloodshed, and meeting Elena, believing perhaps then he could diverge from his predetermined path. I loved her, he said quietly, his voice heavy with enduring affection. I still do. Lena, surprising herself, reached across the space separating them and gently touched his hand. She loved you too. She was just scared. She should have been, maybe, he admitted, but Mia deserves better than fear. Adrien looked at her, truly looked at her, a profound intensity in his gaze. You're not what I expected. What did you expect? Someone who hated me, someone who'd run the first chance she got. I still might, Lena said, but the conviction had entirely vanished from her voice. That night, after Mia was asleep, they sat together on the couch, not touching, yet undeniably close. The television played an old movie, neither of them truly watching. When this is over, Adrien broke the silence. You can go anywhere. I'll make sure you're safe. You and Mia both. And you? Lena inquired, turning to face him. I go back to my world. What if we don't want you to? Adrien turned, surprise flickering across his face. What are you saying? I'm saying Mia needs her father, and maybe... Lena trailed off, not quite ready to articulate the full thought. But Adrien understood. She could see it in his eyes. Outside, the city churned on, dangerous, violent, unforgiving. But inside the townhouse, something fragile and new was blossoming, something that felt remarkably like family. On the 7th morning, Lena packed her bag. She moved quietly while Adrien was engrossed in a phone call in the other room, his voice low and tense. Business, always business. Even in their sheltered bubble, his world relentlessly intruded. Calls about shipments, territories, people who needed to be handled. Mia played contentedly on the floor with a silver rattle, the very one Adrien had brought that first day. She was happy here, safe. But safe wasn't always the same as right. Adrien found her zipping the bag closed. You're leaving? He stated, not a question. His face was carefully blank, betraying no emotion. I have to. Because of the phone call? That was just... It doesn't matter what it was. Lena sat on the bed, a sudden exhaustion washing over her. Adrien, this week has been... It's been beautiful watching you with Mia, getting to know you. But every time that phone rings, I remember what you are, what your life is. She met his gaze, her own filled with a fierce determination. I can't protect you from that life by keeping me in hiding forever, by making Mia grow up behind reinforced doors. Lena shook her head vehemently. Elena ran because she didn't want that for her daughter. I won't give Mia what Elena died trying to escape. Adrien's jaw tightened perceptibly. Then what do you want? He asked, his voice strained. I want Mia to go to parks without worrying about gunfire. I want her to go to school, have friends, live normally. Lena's voice cracked with raw emotion. I want her to have a father, but not if it means she has to be afraid. I would never let anything happen to her, he solemnly declared. You can't make that promise, she retorted, her voice sharp with pain. You couldn't promise it to Elena either. The words struck him like a physical blow. Adrien flinched, turning away, his hands clenching into tight fists. So, this is it then? He bit out, his voice raw. You simply take my daughter and vanish? Legally, she isn't your daughter, Lena countered, her gaze unwavering. The birth certificate clearly states father unknown. Nay, to the rest of the world, she's mine. As she spoke, Lena bent to collect her bag. But I'm not heartless, Adrien. You can still see her. I'll send you photos, videos. When she's older, if she wants to know you, or even me, she can. Adriene's voice escalated, fueled by a deep-seated ache. I am her father. Then be a father, Lena shot back, her resolve hardening. Not a mafia boss who drops in when it's convenient. Not someone she needs protection from, but someone who is genuinely present. How? He demanded, his eyes searching hers. By abandoning everything, walking away from my family's legacy? Yes, Lena affirmed, tears welling in her eyes. Because that very legacy led to Elena's death, and it will undeniably lead to Mia's too, if you maintain your hold on it. An oppressive silence settled over the room. From downstairs, Mia's soft fussing broke the quiet. I'll get her, Adrien murmured, his voice hushed, and he left the room. Lena sank onto the bed, tears tracing silent paths down her cheeks. This was the right decision, she whispered to herself. It had to be. 20 minutes later, Lena descended the stairs to find Adrien on the floor with Mia, surrounded by an array of toys. He was patiently guiding Mia's small hands, teaching her to stack blocks. I've been thinking about what you said, he began, without looking up, his gaze steadfast on his daughter. There's an apartment complex on the north side, Adrien. It's a good neighborhood with excellent schools nearby. I own the building. The penthouse has been vacant for 2 years. He finally met her eyes. It's yours. No rent. Just take it. I can't possibly accept that, she protested, shaking her head. It's not charity, Lena. It's for Mia. She deserves stability. He paused, then continued. There's also an opportunity for you. My lawyer needs an office manager. It's a legitimate business, entirely unconnected to my other dealings. It pays well, with full benefits. Lena simply stared at him, bewildered. Why are you doing this? Because you're right about everything, Adrien replied, his voice steady, though a flicker of pain crossed his eyes. I can't be the father Mia needs if I remain the man I am now, but I can ensure you both have what you require, from a distance. Adriana, Lena began, but he gently interrupted her. He stood, still cradling Mia in his arms. Let me finish. I'm going to gradually withdraw from the organization. Not entirely, because abruptly severing ties would create chaos, but incrementally. I'll strategically position someone trustworthy to assume control, someone who won't introduce violence to our doorstep. Our doorstep? She questioned, a hint of surprise in her voice. He hesitated. I mean, I want to be a part of her life, Lena. And both your lives, if you'll allow me, but on your terms, safe terms. Lena's heart ached with a bittersweet hope. That could take years to extricate yourself, she murmured. Then it takes years, he stated firmly, looking down at Mia, who was playfully grabbing his finger. She's worth it. You both are. 3 months later, Lena stood in the quiet cemetery, Mia nestled warmly against her, shielding her from the crisp autumn chill. Elena's headstone was unassuming, bearing only her name and dates. Lena had added a cluster of fresh white roses, Elena's favorite. I met him, Elena, she whispered softly. The man you loved, the man you feared. She shifted Mia to her other hip. I understand now why you ran, and I also understand why you loved him so profoundly. A car door closed in the distance. Lena remained still, her back to the sound. Footsteps approached, halting several feet behind her. Lena, Adrien's voice, soft and hesitant, broke the silence. I didn't realize you'd be here. I come every Sunday, she replied, without turning around. He moved to stand beside her, holding a single white rose. He placed it carefully on the grave. "I'm sorry," he murmured to the headstone, "for everything." They stood together in companionable silence. Mia reached out for Adrien, and he gently took her, holding her close. "The Calibri deal is finalized," he said quietly. "Marco's taking over that territory." He looked at Lena. "I signed the papers this morning. That's the third one this month. 4 more to go, then I'm out. I'm keeping my promise." Lena nodded, a wave of profound relief washing over her. She believed him. Over the preceding 3 months, she had witnessed his slow, deliberate disentanglement from his formidable empire. It was dangerous, precarious work. Some men were reluctant to release their hold on him. Yet, he persevered. For Mia. For her. For the future Elena had yearned for, but never lived to see. Lena found herself reflecting that day. "I just sat in front of the mirror and laughed at myself today," she confessed, a genuine smile gracing her lips. Adrien's face softened. "I'm sorry I missed it. Come to dinner tonight. I'm making pasta, the kind Elena taught me." "Better," Lena corrected playfully, a true smile spreading across her face. "The kind I'm teaching you." Adrien smiled back, a real warm smile that reached his eyes. Mia, nestled between them, grabbed both their hands, symbolically connecting them. In the distance, the city's ceaseless hum of traffic underscored the quiet stillness of the cemetery. Adrien's old world continued its relentless churn without him, somewhere out there. But here, in the tranquil peace of the gravestones, 3 people stood united, bound by grief